Hello, I have received today this poor Tamiya TGS chassis. It was used on a rally game and wasn't cleaned. So the first thing will be to clean it. And then seek for the parts and a motor. I know that I have in my attics most of the parts because you may have seen in a previous video that I have prepared TGS-R to entry level racing car. Mud is everywhere. Will have to check about how I've suffered the metal bearing, plastic bearing, and it seems that I will have also to replace electrical parts. At least transmission is working. So it's not totally lost. She doesn't seem to have too damaged plastic to be replaced. Everything moves freely. Maybe I will keep it as a TGS car with standard gears and just upgrade the grease in the shock absorber, which friction absorber, not hydraulics, unlike the TGS R. You can see the mud falling. It's used, but it's not catastrophic. She can be restored quite easily. Steering is not damaged. There are no more clean parts, so a long bath and restore. So I did a good bath. Again, I've used spirit vinegar and also car shampoo, and use an old tea brush, and you can see how clean is the water. We'll dry and disassemble it and finish to brush every part. And now I will try to revive the aluminium motor plate. Before reviving the motor plate, we'll have a good clean of the lavabo. Oh la la. So I have used for about 2 minutes steel woods grade 4O, and I have this nice result. And now I will use again steel wood, but with HP 34 cream. I have used it previously on the TGS R that I have restored, and it gave a very shiny look and suppressed most of the oxidation on the plate. You can see my hand, and this is how the steel wood is disintegrated, but here is the result. It's not perfect, there is still some mark of corrosion. Maybe if I use it much more longer with much more steel wood, I will have a better result. But for me it is quite sufficient. Don't you think so? Yeah? Now the time has come to the assembly the front of the car, completely clean every plastic bits, replace with bearings, all metal and plastic bushing and bearings, and ends up the cleaning of the area which I could not access. Okay, the front axle is now completely removed, and we can see that mud has gone everywhere it was open in the car. The screws looks good, but as you can see, pin screw now have no more the black paint, so I will have to use good lub on it, and I will also have to sand the wheel axle because it started to rust. About the plastic parts, as you have seen on the chassis, the mud has gone everywhere it was possible, and there was the tiny stones that were prisoner in some areas. And yes, you may have noticed that there are some plastic bushing. They are too much used, so I will replace them quickly with a newer bearing. And next step, the rear axle, which is about the same case. Et voilà, bis repetita. mud is still everywhere she can reach it. So second deep clean will happen, and as front, the mudguard is also completely covered by mud. Again, axle started to rust, so I will try to save it. But I'm sure I will be successful again, and the differential will be completely disassembled, and the metal bearing will be replaced with a good ball bearing. Okay, I have sanded down the bottom of the body in order to have a smoother aspect. I have also selected bearings, mainly MR115, because that's the most used on the car, and also 8 by 12 or 6 by 12. To remove rust on the wheel axis and on some edge screws, again I have used steel wood, grade triple O or 4O. And after I apply a little bit of oil, take the time to use automotive grease. Apply them on gear, every gear. Also on pivot, and also on ball pivot axis too. And also on the cover where the pivot goes. It's necessary to clean also a shock absorber, which are friction damper. To separate them, you need to push and turn them. It's hard to record and also to section, but compress, turn a bit, and here we are. So we will now clean them and put some fresh grease inside. The same grease I have used for cars and automobile, and it will slightly smoother the friction and give you better dampering effect. When you put back the shock absorber, if you keep the original friction one, be sure that the how can I explain that? The empty parts which make U inside the damper is at the opposite side of the front, so it will keep mud and dust outside the damper body.